On today's episode, our library is going to be the next Blockbuster. And by the way, Blockbuster, come on back home. We miss you. Mom's here. Let's talk. Blockbuster.
I loved
Just,
Blockbuster.
I love Blockbuster too. I think we should, somebody made a post on April 1st apparently saying, oh, they're returning. And it
They're
turned out to
returning.
be,
You know what? I thought they were. I must have seen that post, and I was going to say, I think they're coming back, but I guess not.
nah, unfortunately. I think there is one last one. I believe it's in Oregon. So there is one remaining, and we can all
Okay.
just go there and go, check it out. Hey, everybody.
Okay.
We are Books, Banter, and Beyond. We like to rant a bit, right? And today we're going to ask the question, are libraries going to become what Blockbuster Video was? So in context here, if you guys weren't a 90s, people like we, Blockbuster was the area to go to pick up your videos. It was kind of the ritual every Friday night. You'd go over, you'd pick up a couple videos to rent, you had the weekend to watch, and then you return them on like the Sunday before the week started. And a lot of people today think that libraries do that. And I say think because it's kind of the follow the trail of what you see, and
Hmm.
it isn't actually necessarily, spoiler alert, it's not actually true. And we're going to explain why that is. So the reason why people think it is, and this comes from places like the Pew Research Center, they noticed that digital habits have shifted dramatically. People now get everything from their electronic devices, whether it's the phone, the computer, whatever it is. Younger generations read more digitally than physically compared to prior decades. So the perception is that, oh, well, everybody must be doing this. So that's why the actual thing is going to be disappearing. And with that comes the assumption, well, we don't need them anymore, so let's just, you know, shut it down, which is the very sad thought, and that will, never happen. But before we popped on, you actually kind of already answered this because is the assumption based on reality or not? And it isn't. There is no
And yeah,
proof that
in,
anything like a library is going to.
in fact, I got my library card this past year for the first time since I was a kid. I
A
got
lot
my
of people I've talked to recently have said they've either recently renewed it or they just got it because there's apps, there's all that stuff you can use your
right,
library card for.
right, and again,
And then I'll ask you this too, because I know you do a lot of your work on computer. Are the habits that we do digitally, does that do you lose value for the physical because you are on the computer or you're on your phone, whatever it is?
well, we actually talked about this right before we went live, and that is that there's an app called the Libby app, and part of what
Mhm.
that does, it really, I thought, brought and think that it brings the library into the 21st century, into the
Yes.
digital world. Because if you're not familiar, guys, the Libby app, and you just download it, it's free, and it connects to your library card. And then you can go in and you can reserve books at the library, or you can download and read ebooks. You can literally read them, digitally, which means to respond to is that, all these people that are gone digital. Well, it actually, I think, is responding to all these people that have gone digital. It's saying we have the cure for you. You can read the books.
And for those who don't know, you actually can get music, you can get TV from your library because libraries realize, hey, they're already here for one thing. Why not offer some other stuff? And we're actually talking some legitimate things. We're not talking weird public domain stuff. Like you
No,
can
no,
get.
this is like books. And Rob, I don't know which library you went to when you were living in the desert. I go to the Palm Desert Library.
Mhm.
They literally have laptops there that you can borrow while you're in the library.
That actually, recently on our Instagram, we actually put up a post where libraries are doing Zoom rooms, and they actually are making areas in the library where you can rent out the computer for an hour or two,
Right.
have your meeting. It's specifically labeled so that way, or it's specifically made so that way any sound doesn't bother the people in the library, but you
Right.
can now use the library for your work if you need to
Right. But
while you're
libraries
on the go.
have changed.
So,
But libraries have changed. Since I was a kid, libraries have changed. I mean, we had card catalogs. We would go into the library and pull these little drawers out, and there would be a card for every single book. Think about that for a minute. I don't did you have card catalog? I don't remember.
oh yeah, we did. I mean, in school, we had to, that was one of the things we had to learn was to how to actually find the
Dewey Decimal System, right? The Dewey
exactly
Decimal.
using all that. So, with all that in mind, what does the data actually show us? And we're gonna, and like we said, it shows us that they're not losing steam. Public support for libraries is extremely strong, and most people will say that it's one of the things that keeps the community and the city alive
Hmm.
because it's been there so long. And this is all coming from Pew Research as well. From the American Library Association itself, they've actually received over 1 billion in person visits right after the pandemic. So within the last, let's say, 5 years or so, they're getting more and more people coming to check out a book, check out music, do work, do whatever. Um, you know, like you did, library card signups and borrowing have increased, whether it's via your digital, whether it's via that. And like I was mentioning before, they've expanded their services. So you can get photos, you can get streaming, you can get tech help, you can do all that. You can use the library as a Wi-Fi spot now because they're allowing you to do that. So yes, a lot of people go, well, doesn't that prove that it's more digital than it was? Yes, it is more digital, but I think like you said, it's not necessarily for the bad. It's just kind of with the times.
Going with the times, right?
And I will say from personal thing, I think the fact that you have the building itself and you can still use the library as a library, that is what makes more of the difference than any of the other stuff. Yes, it's nice that you have the equipment you can use, but
Right.
it's more nice to me that you can go in and check out a book and talk to the
I
librarian
love
and
that.
do all of that.
I it reminds me of growing up, and that is something that we love to do. You know, dad
Yes,
will check out a book. I tend to do ebooks or audiobooks, but dad will, goes in and he goes to his aisle and he gets, the next book in the series that he's reading. So we love going to the library. It's a
right.
thing to do. It's an
It is. It's a
excursion,
place.
right?
It's a place to be, right?
Right.
So, lastly, what do experts say about all this? So, again, from the Association of College and Research Libraries, they have described libraries as adaptive institutions that grow in importance the more complex things get.
Mhm.
Libraries remain one of the most trusted sources of information, and they play a role that tech doesn't fill: the literacy of information, the community support, the free, let's say that again, free
Right.
access to so many different things. It also preserves, I'm sure you know this, but for those who don't know, libraries preserve old texts, preserve old culture. So if you are looking for something from 18, 1900s, if you're looking for something from the city you grew up in, let's say I remember I used to have to do reports
Right.
where I had to look up something from California from before,
Right.
you go to the library to get that because nowhere else do you have that information because
Yeah.
most of that stuff disappears.
And I think there's also something called microfilm that you can access when you're in
Yes,
libraries, right? And I think that's what you're referring to, that you can say, I really want to find an article or something, and it's old school, but it's new school. It's very interesting. It literally will search through all of this stuff. It's sort of like artificial intelligence in real life, to be honest. And it will search through all this stuff, and you can get a copy of the newspaper on the day you were born, and see
right.
what. I personally love libraries almost as much as bookstores. I love bookstores even better, but
So I guess the best way to end, best question to end it with is our libraries more transformative than people think they are declining? And I think the answer is yes, transformative, because they are working to make sure they stay relevant and they don't have to try very hard.
no.
Libraries always will be relevant because they are libraries. So,
I love that. And again, and I mentioned kind of, off the cuff, I also love bookstores. Obviously, we love the Next Chapter bookstore.shop. You can pick up, used books in there. And what's fascinating, I think the reason why I like libraries so much, for the same reason I like your bookstore, is that all of these books have been held by other people. And there's a history, there's a story behind it. So I love it. I'm curious. Let us know in the comments how many of you have a library card.
oh yeah,
I mean, I'd like to know. Wouldn't
you
you?
never
I don't
know.
know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Once again, thanks for joining us. We love when you join us, Rob. Always a pleasure. We'll see you next week on the next episode of Books, Banter, and Beyond. I almost said Bed Bath and Beyond. Sorry.